They made it they did it. They made it a reality. Those daft fools. Those idiots. The NX class, and yes, it's an NX class, talk to Starfleet if you don't like it being called the NX class, don't at me, was one of the worst designs in the Alpha Quadrant. Regardless of why, the ship was woefully unprepared and couldn't match up to powers such as the Vulcans, Andorians, and others. Time and again, this vessel would get the ever-living hell beat out of it. While improvements do occur to the ship, ultimately the design would be mothballed when the coalition of planets evolved into the United Federation of Planets. As of the upload of this video, we would not see the NX class in the 23rd nor the 24th century. The Borg, the Dominion, none of these threats would cause the admirals of Starfleet to even consider bringing out this failed project. However, in the 25th century, even with the war and the disparity in those not being able to defend themselves, the glut of society, the avarice of the culture of the Federation, mixed with the ability to have industrial replicators, would see a resurgence of the NX ships. Captains and admirals would find ways to have this design brought back into service. Originally, it would seem Starfleet approved of this as the vessel was made available to most anyone who wanted it, though they would try to hide it by calling it a replica, realizing that it was extremely stupid to bring back such a ship that barely worked when it was created. The NX would be pulled from active use. However, those who had the coin, the lobes if you will, can still purchase the design and use it, even if they are getting themselves and other Starfleet officers killed. The reintroduction of the ship would mean that it was modified with all the pre-Federation equipment stripped and replaced with 25th century equivalent. Well, generally, some legacy components would still be around, because when you're fighting the Borg and they are a massive threat in the Alpha Quadrant, you want to make novelty ships. The vessel has a crew of 85, including specialty consoles on the bridge for a tactical engineering and science officer. It would carry the standard Federation tech, including a shield array, deflector array, impulse engines, matter-antimatter warp core, and the grappler instead of a tractor beam. It had a grappler. That's charming. The ship would also have 2 slots allowing engineering and science departments to upgrade the vessel depending on need. The ship would have 2 standard phaser beam arrays along with 1 photon torpedo launcher. These weapons would be situated both aft and fore of the vessel. However, it wouldn't stop there. Admirals would have the ship refit and upgraded for their own purposes. The specialty consoles on these vessels would allow for up to 5 tactical consoles, 4 engineering consoles, or 2 science officer consoles depending on configuration. It would also have consoles available for temporal operatives and tactical pilots because of course it would. The Admiral ship comes standard with a 23rd century neutrino deflector array, impulse engines, matter-antimatter warp core, and shield array. Additionally, it would have aft and fore weapons, including photon torpedoes, twin phaser beam arrays, as well as dual phaser beam arrays. Overall, the NX wasn't ready when it first went out, and from what we can see, it never would be. Whether they call it a replica or they admit that they just want to get people killed, the Starfleet Corps of Engineers failed on this one. Now, with all of these ridiculous ships out of the way, we'll hopefully be able to look at a few designs that actually worked for the 25th century wars. I'll see you on the next Lore Reloaded.